comes to Kieran Richardson, and United lead inside 5 minutes at Molineux.
McTominay now hits it and scores! Super strike from Scott McTominay. A wonderful hit that just arrowed into the bottom corner.
Scholes, Paul Scholes! He's done it! Paul Scholes brings up a century of Premier League goals for United. Still Valencia. Oh, that's outstanding! What a finish! What a run! What a finish! And is that the finish of this game?
Wolves did more than most to derail United's season in the spring. 2 defeats in 17 days across League and Cup proved very costly. There could barely be a tougher opening away day test for the Reds. Confidence, though, sky high after they eased to a 4-0 win against Chelsea on day one. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Molineux. A lovely evening here in the Black Country. It feels like ages since that first game of the season, but we're finally ready tonight. And what a difficult place to come, Ben Thornley.
Very, very, very tough, yeah. They play some great stuff, the fans get behind him, and you can understand why, because they have a set way of playing Wolves, and it's really, really served them well in their opening season of the Premier League. And along with Leicester, who, ironically, they played in their opening fixture, yes. You know, some people's tip to get into the top 6, but they've got some very exciting players, and they stick to a rigid system that is very, very difficult to break down.
Well, let's talk about that. 3-5-2 they play, and they sit deep. It's difficult to counter-attack because they barely come out. They've got a devastating strike force of Jimenez and Jota. If they score first, it's a big problem, isn't it?
It is, yeah. I mean, it's always going to be a problem because they are so difficult to break down. Like you said, the 3 centre-backs don't tend to venture much past sort of halfway inside their own half. And the full-backs are up and down all day in Doherty and Johnny. They work tremendously hard, and it's going to be a real tough ask for United to score a minimum of 2 goals. It's so imperative that they try and score, that they get the first goal.
And, of course, the season is very much in its infancy, but if United win tonight, they'll go top, with games against Crystal Palace and Southampton to come. Now, OK, we'd rather they were top come April or May, but it would be a heck of a start if they could beat Chelsea at home and Wolves away.
Yeah, it would be, because, you know, Chelsea at home, Wolves away, in anybody's fixture list are 2 very, very tough games to start your season. They swept Chelsea aside. OK, the scoreline flattered them somewhat, but you will take it all day long. And then your first away trip is to a Wolverhampton Wanderers side that will be buoyant after scoring 4 in midweek. Next round of the Europa League, and they know that they'll have the fans right behind them.
Yep, 4 games already they've played in the Europa League, won them all. They've got another one coming up on Thursday against Torino. Before that, facing United tonight. In a moment, I'm going to actually speak to Ollie in the tunnel. But first of all, a little bit earlier on, he sat down and spoke to Mark Sullivan at the Aon Training Complex.
Ollie, let's start with how the squad's shaping up ahead of the Wolves game.
Yeah, we've had a good week, good training week, competitive week. So hopefully we can still have the same squad and people available. I think so, unless we get something towards the end. It's still a few days until we're playing, isn't it?
Yeah, you've had a long time to prepare for this game. It's not often in a season you get 8 days, so how has it helped?
It's helped a lot, I think, because we know it's so early in the season and we're still building the foundation of what's going to last for a long season. So it's been almost like a pre-season week still. Hard work, some tactical work, and some feedback from the game against Chelsea.
It's a fixture we lost twice last season, Wolves away. So how, if at all, will the approach be different this time?
Well, I think we'll approach the game as we've always done, and we should do that. We're going to go there and try to win the game. We did last year. We had spells in both games that we did well, especially, was it the league game? I thought we played really well at times, got the first goal, but then we gave them counter-attacks and opportunities. And against Wolverhampton, a team that defends so well, drops deep, we've just got to be patient. We've got to be good in decision making, when to play through, when to keep it, when to risk the ball, and it's about that balance.
They're a dangerous side, as we know,
Yeah.
and they've got a good squad, but do you think their Europa League exertions will affect them at all?
Not for this game. It might do later on, but at the moment it's... yesterday they could rest the whole team. They had a big win against Punic away, so I don't think we'll see any fatigue on Monday night. It's so early in the season anyway, and fans and everyone will be up for it, so it bides for a good game, I think.
And some teams can suffer a kind of second season syndrome in the Premier League after promotion, but it appears from the outside that Wolves won't be one of them.
I can't really see that happen to them because they've got a good setup, good squad. They've signed some good players, and I know that Nuno he's a demanding coach, as we all are, to be fair. But he wants improvement, and I don't see that happen to Wolverhampton. No.
It was a terrific win last weekend. Afterwards, you acknowledged that, but we're also quick to say, right, everybody, don't get carried away. Keep your feet firmly on the ground. So has that been a message to your players throughout the week?
I think you should enjoy the moment, enjoy a win, and know that nothing becomes history quicker than a game of football. Let the punters and the supporters talk about how great it was or how bad it was. And we've just got to focus on the next task, and that's been very encouraging this week as well. It's been competition, because the lads who didn't play, weren't in the squad, they're all disappointed that they weren't involved, and the ones who played, they're happy. So it's been a very good week. Then again, everyone knows this is a long season, and we've just got to stick together as a team. There'll be parts of the season where some players will play bigger parts. I've been one of these players that I haven't played too many league openers, but then I've played a decent part in the squad. So some disappointed faces there were on Sunday. Then the mood's been lifted in them as well, because they know they'll play.
Yeah, the best thing they can do is knuckle down, do the work, and impress you on that training pitch,
yeah,
right?
And it's been spot on. Ever since 1st of July, I have to say, maybe one session over in Australia that we were disappointed. Most of them have been very good.
And just finally, the three debutants last weekend, Maguire, Wan-Bissaka did really well from the start, and Dan James got his goal. Has that helped them settle even more?
I think for Dan coming on, scoring a goal, of course that lifts him, and he can drop his shoulders knowing that I can just do what I normally do, and it'll be okay. And that's the message to all of these boys: just be yourselves. Of course, you're at Man United now, so we might want different things compared to the other clubs tactically, but just go out there, enjoy yourself, and I think all our fans got a great first impression of all three.
So I don't think Ollie feels that the Europa League is going to have much impact on Wolves. We've made 9 changes here on Thursday and eased to a 4-0 win. They're playing again on Thursday against Torino, but do you think it will have any sort of an impact?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty sure that he will play his strongest team tonight. The Wolves manager, there's no two ways about it. He knows that it's still going to be a huge scalp to take Manchester United, especially after the result that we had on the opening day, because there are going to be no teams that will do that again to Chelsea this season.
Unbeaten in 13 home games going back to very early January, Wolves in all competitions. They make it very difficult here. Crowd get right behind them, and they have, as you've mentioned before, a well-oiled machine, a set way of playing that makes it a very difficult place to come. Yeah,
it's very, very rigid. Everybody knows their job in the team, and with that they've got a sprinkling of really, really good players that can unlock defences and that can score goals, and I can't see them deviating from that at all, because it served them so well, certainly last season, and it'll continue to do that.
Yeah, it took 16 points against the so-called Big Six last season, so difficult for everybody coming here. It's been a busy weekend of Premier League action. This is the end of it, of course, but let's just take a look at the results over the weekend. And obviously a lot of controversy in the City-Tottenham game. Wonder if VAR will come into the equation. It comes into the equation in every game. Stuart Atwell is the VAR tonight, but
It will come into the equation, I'm pretty sure. We had, 2 incidents in the City Spurs game. The one that was looked at that obviously cost City the win, and the other one that wasn't, when City should effectively have had a penalty in the first half when Eric Lamela was climbing all over. I forget who it was, but and that wasn't looked at. So things like that need to be ironed out. But that is the law of the game. It hit his hand and it went into the path of Jesus, who scored, and it was a goal-scoring opportunity, so disallowed.
Arsenal looking pretty good.
Yeah,
a victory.
Yeah, I think they've bought well. They've patched up some holes, Arsenal, and with the strike force they've got, certainly they're going to be very, very tough to beat.
Yeah, and Liverpool as well. Obviously, it was a good win. That, bear in mind they were in Turkey.
Yeah, they've had a tough travelling schedule over these last sort of 72 hours, but it was a real good win, and I think Danny Ings will be ruining that come later on in the season.
Now, Scott McTominay, if he plays, will be his 50th appearance for United tonight, and got his first goal for the club, of course, in the defeat here in the league in April. Well, I've been chatting to our central midfielder.
McTominay now hits it and scores! Super strike from Scott McTominay. A wonderful hit that just arrowed into the bottom
corner. You were in the starting lineup for the first game of the season. A great start to the campaign. Was it good to have that faith of the manager to kick off the campaign?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, there was a lot of young players who were involved in the game, and I think it was Jesse who was the oldest player in the team, which is a testament to the coaches and obviously the academy staff when we come over through the ranks of the first team. So that was an amazing day for the academy as well.
And you were in a midfield too, really, with Paul. How was that? And what was it like playing alongside Paul?
Yeah, you have to have a relationship with the player that you're playing with, and we did have a good relationship on tour throughout the games that we were playing when we were away. And obviously it's about building that up and keep finding a relationship between each other, know what each other does, and obviously keep adapting to the circumstances that we were under throughout the game, and I think we handled it quite well.
Do you model your midfield game on anybody? I mean, you spoke about the coaches here, and you've got a great former midfielder in Michael Carrick there, but do you model your midfield game on anybody?
Carrick is the best example, with somebody who's pretty much been there, done it all, and experienced everything that he can experience as a footballer, and he did it as a number 6, he did it as a number 8 as well, and obviously I can model my experiences off Michael Carrick as well with the different formations that you do play in games. Sometimes it suits to have a number 8, sometimes it suits to have a number 6. So as I say, I just want to try and establish myself and just keep pushing and keep going the way that I'm going, and obviously learning as much as I am learning off the coaches as well.
Wolves on a Monday night. Is it fair to say we probably due a win against Wolves? Have it become a bit of a bogey team?
Nah, that's football. Like, look, you can go to any stadium and lose twice. It's part of football, but as I say, we have to go there and really look to cement ourselves like we did in the first half last year. We looked bang on the money. We was well in that game, and obviously it's important for us to go and really show them that we're not here to make the numbers up. We're here to come and really put a performance in and take the game to them, and obviously we played a little bit different this year, so they'll have to look at that as well. You
got your first United goal at Wolves. Obviously the result didn't go the way, but is that bit at least a good memory?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. Whenever I got home and spoke to my family, and they said really well done, like you scored your first goal, and I was like, just don't have that same feeling, Whenever I have scored in games, it's not been as good a result as what you hope, but they're the experiences you've got to learn from, and they will build you back up in the future to be stronger. And obviously the coaches know that, and the staff, they know that we can't go there and expect it to be an easy game with 3-4 goals going in the first half. It's just not going to happen. It's Wolves away. You have to be compact. You have to be disciplined. You have to go to be ruthless on the counter attack as well, and we know that.
And finally, just seeing the guys in training. It looks like there's a terrific atmosphere, and the new boys have just seem to have fitted in seamlessly. Yeah,
they've slotted in really, really well, and that's part of it. Whenever you come to a football club at Manchester United, you have to have that personality to come into the dressing room and really own it. You have to come in and show people that you should be there, and that you are going to be there, and you are going to play, and you wanting to show everybody, including the staff and the players, that you're there for the long run, and you're not going to be a bit quiet. And easy way in. These boys have come straight in and they've played so well so far, and it's a credit to them, and it's a credit to the previous football clubs as well for their education that they've had.
A wise head on young shoulders, Scott McTominay. He's 22. I suppose he was a late developer in many ways. He's 22 and this is his 50th appearance tonight. Should he start, would you expect him to? McTominay and Pogba in the centre of midfield were impressive against Chelsea.
Yeah, they were. Didn't really let Chelsea, get into the stride at all. And bearing in mind the midfielders that Chelsea have got, I think Scott McTominay has made huge strides in a Manchester United shirt. And I expect him to start this evening. I think all over the squad. I don't think it was one of Scott's problems last season, but I think they're a fitter team, Manchester United. They certainly look that way anyway through all the pre-season and into the game against Chelsea, which Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will really, really please him that, because I know it was an aspect that he wasn't very happy with when he first came in. But with Scott McTominay doing the dog work, if you like, and Paul Pogba being able to reproduce performances like he did against Chelsea last week, to be able to pull the strings, to unlock the defences, to switch the play, I think it's a really good combination.
Scoring goals is obviously not his primary role, but he got his first for the club here last season. He scored a good few in the reserves, actually. We played in various positions, but do you think that's something he could add a bit more to his game?
I think it's something that quite a few of the Manchester United players would want to add to the game, but it's great if you've got a midfielder that you know and can rely on, that can break forward to the edge of the box, or even break into the box, but certainly be around the edge of the D. And he's got a terrific strike on him, like the goal that we saw him score here last season. And if you've got a midfielder or two midfielders that can supplement the forward players by getting into double figures, it make a huge difference, the amount of games that you win and obviously where you finish.
He's got a chance to establish himself, hasn't he? A lot of people have spoken about our midfield options. If he starts the season well, what an opportunity he's got to really establish himself as a first-choice player. Yeah,
I mean, we've lost a couple of midfielders in Marouane Fellaini and Ander Herrera. They've not been replaced. We know that we've got players waiting in the wings in the under-23s that I've seen already this season and that I think could quite easily come in and do a job.
James Garner.
Yeah, James Garner for definitely one. Dylan Lovett another. But there's no question that Scott McTominay, like I said, has made huge strides in a Manchester United shirt. He thoroughly deserves his place in the team at the moment. He's an honest, hard-working lad. He keeps the game simple, and like you said, if he can add goals to his game, then he would start to become a very, very, very good midfield player.
Talking of goals, United thumped 4 past Chelsea a week ago. It really was a great afternoon at Old Trafford. Statman Dave and Danny Webber have been looking at some of the key incidents from that game.
Next up, arguably the goal of the game, and it's all about the timing of both the run and the pass.
Yeah, I think it's important straight from kick-off. We just scored the goal, we're 2-0. We go hunting impacts to win the ball back, to set the intent. I think the difference between 2 and 3-0 is clear from a mental point of view. You get 3 and the game's almost done. But you see we're hunting impacts, we managed to win the ball back. You've got Marcus Rashford at the bottom of the screen, just here. Big thing for me, and I always harp on about it, is the body shape of the players. That sets the intent of where you're going to run, and for the man on the ball, i.e. Pogba in this instance, he knows where the ball needs to be delivered.
What about the movement of Anthony Martial, though?
I think it's important. He comes into feet, and it creates that little bit of space in behind. So you've got some defenders coming out, and gives the space for Marcus in behind. The touch is absolutely different class. And you're looking at a player there really playing with a lot of confidence. But here you see it from a different angle. If you just look, Pogba, he's key to the whole thing. He's looking already. While everybody's looking at the ball, everybody, I'm talking players, fans, the lot, looking at the ball, he's looking at where the ball's going to go next. He's seen the run of Marcus Rashford. At this point, you see he looks again and again, and at that point, he manages to execute. I mean, the pass is different class, not an easy pass at all, not something that's easily taught. It's natural. And then Marcus's touch it's like velvet. He manages to slide it past the keeper. And I think important that he takes it early, because as Piliqueta's just coming back round, he takes the touch, keeper's not set, and slides it home. And I think, great move all around that. Fantastic, and the timing of it was important.
Kind of brings everything together. Winning the ball back, being aggressive. Yeah. Pogba having that vision, and Marcus Rashford running behind as well. Anthony Martial pulling off. That relationship looking really good for Manchester United coming into the season.
Definitely, it's interesting as well because at times they're playing as a front two. And that's what United's been built on, playing with partnerships, and they're really starting to develop a nice little bit of a rhythm.
Really good rhythm from Manchester United, but all, you know, started by that good sort of collective defensive display.
Important as well, hunting in packs and then picking the right time to go in for the kill. We've done it numerous times today. We saw Harry Maguire doing it before, and then again there's another instance of us doing it.
And finally, the moment for the football purists. Dan James on his Manchester United debut in front of the Stretford end. It doesn't get much better than that, does it, Danny?
Not even close, mate.
Let's take a look at the move. A really good counter-attack from deep from Manchester United.
Yeah, I think it's important to highlight that Chelsea again had good possession. It's been a theme running through the goals that United scored against Chelsea. If you look, even if the ball breaks down for them, they're sitting there, very comfortable, thinking they've got 7 players to United's 2, and they'd be very safe, thinking that they'd be able to handle anything if United break.
I think the interesting side here is that United have 2 players so capable of the counter-attack together. We've seen time and time again, Pogba, Martial, then we throw the pace of Dan James into the mix. You've got some real dangerous counter-attacking potential there. The move builds up from the back. Scott McTominay with a nice pass, but now...
Yeah, important again, second part of the move. You've got Anthony Martial here. You've got N'Golo Kante trying to track him. This is the key. Anthony Martial looks over his shoulder. You know, if you just play it on there, he looks over his shoulder there. He looks again there. He now knows that he's brought N'Golo Kante with him. At that point, he knows the space has opened up for Paul Pogba to run in behind here, giving him acres to run into.
It's perfect counter-attacking, drawing that 1v1 out wide, opening up the space, and we all know what Paul Pogba can do when there's space to attack. His ability to carry the ball, absolutely fantastic, and we saw it. What I loved here, though, Danny, was how he slowed himself down in this position, waited for the support.
Yeah, and it's Dan James who's 0 to 60 in about 3 seconds on the right-hand side, manages to get up and support the play. Lovely ball from Pogba, and I was delighted to see him get his first goal for Manchester United, having just come onto the pitch.
So we're going to take another look at it, another angle. Again, players you've got to watch out for. Pogba, for Martial, the counter-attack. But we'll focus on the finish as well from Dan James.
Yeah, just this bit. If we've got Martial at the bottom of your screen here, he looks there, and again. And just here he looks, knowing full well Kante's come with him. At that point, it is that Pogba bursts into the space. Fully aware. And it's all about Dan James, 0 to 60 on the outside, and manages to get forward. Dan James' first touch isn't great, which is why he doesn't manage to get the shot away there. But he manages to hit a shot. A little bit fortunate, but that's what you do as a striker or as a front man. You hit the ball low and hard, and sometimes you get the rub of the green, and he definitely did there.
I think you've got fairly long odds on that game finishing 4-0, particularly after an impressive first half for Chelsea. But the guy spoke about a couple of the key goals. I mean, I thought the third one, Pogba's through ball, and Rashford, a dream finish. He passed it into the corner, basically, isn't he?
Yeah, it was a tremendous finish. I mean, both goals 2 and 3 killed Chelsea off, really, because they would have been extremely disappointed that they didn't go in at least level at the break, but those 2 goals killed him. And the third one, and this is what I'm talking about, Paul Pogba, he's got that vision and that execution to be able to release him. With Marcus's pace, he broke the line, no question that he was well onside, and a really cool finish. Didn't bother trying to go round the goalkeeper, he just, on the half volley, he just slid it past him. It was a fabulous finish.
Anthony Martial may well play through the middle tonight. One more means 50 goals for Manchester United. Rashford just behind on 47, but you can see those 2 for years to come, can't you, being crucial parts of the Manchester United lineup?
Well, they've got all the attributes that you need to succeed at the top level. They've both got pace, they've got 2 good feet, they're brave, and they're not scared about taking defenders on. And I think that maybe, certainly Anthony Martial, if he does come out into a wide position, I think he needs to do it more, because he proved last week he's a real handful, and absolutely he can go left, he can go right, and like I said, he's strong, he's quick, and he's got an eye for goal, and he proved that last week. And obviously Marcus scoring 2. Let's not forget the penalty. It was tremendously well dispatched.
And young Dan James, it was great. I mean, he brought the house down with that goal on his debut. But in a game like this, if he doesn't start, what an effective weapon he can be against tiring defences, a man of explosive pace.
Well, I've said right from the start of the season, when I first saw him play, he is going to cause defences real problems with that pace. I saw him score his first goal, which was a penalty, all right. And then the real thing against Chelsea, it must have been an absolute dream for the lad to have scored his goal. Thoroughly deserved it, to rebalance himself and then still stick it into the bottom corner. And he is going to be like a proper handful with the pace that he's got, because there's few like it.
Yeah, he's going to be a great weapon. It'll be interesting to see whether he starts or whether he comes on as an impact sub, and you can imagine him having quite an impact as well. All right, well, the team news is on the way. Also, I'm going to speak to Ollie in the tunnel to get his reaction to the team news. But first of all, let's hear from the boss. Let's just reflect on some of the best moments from his press conference on Friday.
On Maguire, there's obviously a lot of excitement from fans about his partnership with Lindelof, and a feeling that you could have a long-term partnership there, like possibly with the success of Ferdinand and Vidic. Without putting pressure on them, what kind of complements, what abilities they have that complement each other and give you the feeling that this can be a long-term partnership that could succeed?
I think good players can play with each other, together with each other. They've only played this once. Of course, we want that partnership to develop with David at the back, because we want to play out from the back, but we got good centre backs around as well. Axel is knocking on the door. He wants to play. So I hope Victor and Harry don't give me a reason to change. No injuries or suspensions or lack of concentration. So they feel they what do you want to say? They can both play. They read the game really well. Of course, Harry is with his presence in the box, and he's just it's great for any centre back to have that presence next to him. So I'm sure Victor enjoyed that. Then again, as we said, Rojo, Smalling, Jones, Axel, Tuan Sebe, they all want to be part of that. So it's still competition for them places.
You just mentioned Axel there, that he's knocking on the door. It seemed quite significant last week that you selected him over Jones and Smalling because they are more experienced. What was you thinking with that? And is that fair to say that he's now, with Eric injured, the third choice centre-back in that pecking order?
Well, pre-season has been... It was a great chance for Axel to show what he's capable of next to our players. I've seen him at Villa. It's no problem. We've seen him in midfield here, right back. But I wanted to see him next to Victor, next to Phil, so next to them. And we know he's going to be a big part of this club in the future. And he probably impressed me more than I expected, so that's why he's in that on the bench, and he can slot in midfield and right back as well. So he's very able to play different positions.
After the Chelsea game, Paul Pogba said regarding his future, this question mark. Well, the question is not over.
You always put question mark around Paul anyway, don't you?
Well, what did you make of the sort of comment and the timing of it? Because he just played very well in a 4-0 win. Our window's closed. It seemed a bit odd for him to say this.
Do you think it's... I don't think it's odd saying I enjoy playing, I have fun with my teammates, I enjoy what I'm doing, I love my job, I've enjoyed the game. So Paul, of course, that sentence with a question mark about him, there's always question marks about Paul. There's not one press conference I've not answered a question on Paul Pogba, but he's... 80% of what he said was that he enjoyed that game and his time here now. So
and the other 20% though? Because
that's the question mark that you.
He said that.
That's the question mark. Is he questioning you, or is he that you're putting question marks
on him?
Concerns, I've got absolutely no concerns on Paul.
And he'll definitely still be here 2nd September.
Yeah, unless some. Yeah. For me, he's going to stay.
We're going to be hearing from Ollie from here in the tunnel at Molineux in a moment as well. So I've moved inside here to the area where the interviews take place before and after the games. There are TV crews from all over the place here. Always the biggest game in town when Manchester United are here. And what a great record Manchester United have on a Monday night since the Premier League began. They've just lost 6 of 63 Monday night games. Let's hope that continues here today. Although it's a tough one against a Wolves side who are so difficult to beat here at home and already up and running this season. They've won a couple of games in the Europa League here, 4 in total, and they've got another big Europa League tie coming up against Torino on Thursday. So exciting time for them. How are they going to do against Manchester United? Well, the team news is in, and I suppose the big piece of team news for Manchester United is there is one change from the Chelsea game. Dan James, who came off the bench, scored on his debut. Well, he makes his full Premier League debut. He's in for Pereira. That is the one change. So exciting-looking Manchester United front 4, really, on the counter-attack. Let's take a look at the lineup. David De Gea is wearing the captain's armband. At the back four, Wan-Bissaka, Lindelof, Maguire and Shaw. Then you've got Pogba and McTominay as the two in midfield, and a fluid, quick, exciting front four. James, we suspect, will start on the right. Jesse in at number 10. Rashford and Martial interchangeable. Martial looking for one goal that would take him to 50 for Manchester United. And talking about 50, it's a 50th appearance for United for Scott McTominay. On the bench is Romero, Mata, Pereira, Young, Mason Greenwood, Nemanja Matic and Axel Tuanzebe. It's very much the Wolves side that you'd expect. 3-5-2 well-oiled machine. Rui Patricio in goal. Back three of Bennett, Cody and Bolly. Then 5 strong across the middle. Doherty and Johnny, if you like, are the wing-backs. Strong in the central midfield. Moutinho, Neves and Dendoncker. And the 2 up front who proved so difficult to stop in Jimenez and Jota. 24 goals in their last 24 starts. They really are a threat. So very much the Wolves side that you'd expect. Remember, they did play on Thursday here in the Europa League, but they did make 9 changes, so they'll be pretty fresh as well. So there you go. That's just about it from down here at Molineux for now. So I'm going to hand you back to Manchester, and we're going to join Danny Webber, Sylvain Ebanks-Blake, who used to play for United and of course did really well here at Wolves. First of all though, it's Helen Evans.
Thank you, Stuart. Yes, welcome to Old Trafford. As Stuart said, Sylvain and Danny join me here for what is a tough fixture if last season's visits to Molineux are anything to go by. Welcome, guys. Good to see you both.
See you.
So we have the team news in there, and I suppose before we go to the team news, we want to continue the positive start, Danny, from last week.
Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, last week, 4-0 slightly flattered us, but I thought we were clinical when we got our chances. We were good on the break. And I think we need to see more of that tonight. I think you're going to see solid foundations from Wolves. And, we need to just be as clinical, as professional and get the job done.
Mm-hmm. And Ollie has only made 1 change to his team this evening, Sylvain. James comes in there. What do you make of that change?
It's pace. They need to start bright, they need pace. And, I'm really excited to see him play.
Mm-hmm. Very exciting front four before us there, isn't it, Danny?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you've got a bit of everything. I think, the pace of James is frightening, the pace of Rashford. Martial and Rashford sort of interchanging. You've got Jesse who will come in behind in the space and pick up the pockets and do his bit of magic. So I think you look at the 4 of them and you just think any of them can play in any of the 4 positions. Mm-hmm. It's interchangeable. I think you'll only see them set up as you do on the in their formation when we've not got the ball. But anything can happen. And the way Rashford's playing at the moment as well, he's had a great pre-season, and I'd expect to see him firing on all cylinders tonight.
Mm-hmm. And as you say, Sylvain, James coming in for that pace, but he certainly deserves that starting role tonight, especially when we saw him score that goal last night and we've seen how much it meant to him and his teammates as well.
Yeah, you can tell he enjoys being here already. He's settled in really well. He's obviously worked hard throughout pre-season, comes off the bench last week and gets a goal, and I think everyone's excited by him. He gets fans out of their seats, and they're really delighted to see him starting today, and he needs a big performance alongside many of the others.
How different will this challenge be this evening compared to Chelsea?
I think it's different because, first of all, Wolves, the players know each other very well. The Chelsea team last week had, mishmash of players that have come back off loan, youngsters, and everybody, has been put together fresh. All these boys know their jobs. They've done it week in, week out. They play a very settled side, Wolves, and they're always solid. They'll play the 3 centre-backs, the wing-backs who are always dangerous. And then when you've got the likes of Jimenez and Jota who are playing through the middle, you've always, got to be alert. So they'll pose totally different threats. But, nothing we can't contain, but you've got to be on your mettle all the time.
Thank you, guys. Let's head back over to Molineux now then. Stuart Gardner is speaking to Ollie.
Well, Ollie, we see the 1 change from last week and a full Premier League debut for Dan James. What's you thinking there?
Well, Dan's been impressive all pre-season, ever since he came into the club, and we feel that tonight might be a game for him. Obviously, he'll give us the X factor of his pace, penetration in behind, and so we try to stretch Wolves a little bit. We know how difficult it is to come here and get 3 points, so we know that we'll have to be on top of our game.
How much of a challenge is it against a team that drop deep, they sort of compress the space, make it difficult for you?
then they hit you on the break. Then they can play with the ball as well. They've got good strikes from outside the box, set pieces, volley is always a danger. So they're going to give us loads of difficult questions tonight that we have to answer, and we've got to just be better than them, because that's the only way to beat them is becoming a better team ourselves.
Strangely, it feels like ages since we played, even though it's been only just over a week. But I guess the boys are absolutely raring to go, aren't they, after the Chelsea?
Yeah, of course. But we've had a great week, good training, put some hard work into them. Then the last few days now we've done some tactical work and eased off a little bit. And I don't think we could have been better prepared for a game like this. We've had so many times games 2 days after another game, and today we've had 7 days of training, and we're ready. We're definitely not the preparation that's going to stop us tonight.
Good luck. Hope it goes well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, he's sounding very relaxed there indeed, and sounds like it's been a good week, as he said, good week of training. And this is really the time when the players are the most fresh mentally and physically, before all those midweek games start to come thick and fast coming up towards Christmas time. And all those players we want to get into this starting 11 tonight.
Yeah, definitely. It's been a good week for them to get some training, get some more fitness in, work on the team shape and the style of play. But they'll all be itching to get out there. You know, they won the last game 4-0, which seems ages ago now. They'll all be itching to play, itching to start, and itching to build on that momentum that they started at Chelsea. So yeah, I'm really excited to see them today. I think they need to start bright. I think if you're going down to the Molineux on a Monday night, it's going to be a packed house, good atmosphere. You've got to start bright. You've got to make the defenders run towards their goal, and hopefully they do that early on in the game and sort of set the precedent.
Wolves don't very often change their team. We were talking about that, Danny. Are you surprised that Ollie didn't match the three at the back this evening?
No, I don't think so. I think the way I look at it, you've got to impress yourself upon the other team. You know, if you're going there to match up the other team, you're going there in a negative mindset. You're going there thinking, well, let's have a look at what they do. It's not about that. It's about being aware of their threat, knowing what to do when you lose the ball. But you've got to go and impress yourself upon them. And I think last year the game, we missed 2 early chances, Lukaku and Jesse Lingard. And I think, you know, as Sylvain was saying, then you've got to take your chances early on. And I think that's the key to United putting in a good performance today.
Well, if you are just tuning in, we will remind you of those teams starting with Wolves. Very much an organised team, Sylvain. They not a lot of spaces between their players. It'll be a difficult test for United tonight. Yeah. What do you make of that team?
Yeah, like you said, they don't change the way they play. They don't change their style. Every player knows what the manager expects. They're a very, very good counter-attacking team. Very good on the ball. Jimenez and Jota are a handful. Neves, Moutinho, really good football players, can shoot from distance, keep the ball. You've got to be at it. That's a really good, strong unit, that team.
And what about United's team then, Danny? Did you expect to see that would be the only kind of change tonight, or
I did.
Why change a winning formula, I suppose?
No, I thought James would come in. You know, we touched on his pace, his enthusiasm, his desire to play in the team, and that's always something you need when you're playing against a team that sits back. You know, you need that threat in behind, and he'll provide different. He'll provide something very different. You know, I like the fact McTominay's he's done well in the middle of the park. I think he'll play more as a 6 today, a bit more holding.
I was just going to say, how big of a thing is that midfield battle going to be this evening?
Really, really important. You know, Pogba's some of his moments against Chelsea were outstanding, but you just look at that trio. They need to keep the ball. They need to be active, and then Dendoncker will shut them down. You need to take advantage of the fact that Moutinho's age, because if you allow him on the ball, he can dictate. So you've got to make sure that try and get him moved around, try and get him running. But the midfield trio and trying to find a bit of space in behind will be key to getting the space for Jesse Lingard and the likes to come in and get on the ball.
Thank you. Let's hear from our new number 9, or should that be our old number 9? Anthony Martial is back with his favourite number, and has been speaking tonight ahead of tonight's game.
Tout ce qu'il m'a dit, c'est que voilà, maintenant j'ai repris le numéro 9. Donc voilà, c'est c'est beaucoup de responsabilités et il faut marquer des buts. C'est ce que j'essaie de faire. À l'entraînement, on travaille beaucoup sur ça et ça va être de mieux en mieux. Ouais, c'est sûr, c'est parce que depuis que je suis petit, j'ai toujours joué en tant qu'attaquant. Après, ça ne me dérange pas de jouer aussi sur le côté. C'est un poste que j'aime bien, mais voilà, ça me fait plaisir de retrouver ce poste-là. Et voilà, j'espère aider beaucoup l'équipe et marquer beaucoup de buts. Moi, je me suis plutôt bien senti. On a fait une très grosse préparation cet été. Et voilà, de faire le premier match à Old Trafford, en plus contre une grosse équipe. Voilà, tout ce qu'on voulait, c'était vraiment tout donner et de montrer qu'on est revenu avec la bonne attitude et pour faire de bonnes choses cette saison. Bah, c'est sûr, on a vraiment bien entamé cette saison, mais voilà, le plus dur, ça sera de continuer comme ça et c'est ce qu'on va essayer de faire, c'est de devenir le plus régulier possible. Tant de continuer sur cette lancée et voilà, comme je dis, de toujours continuer à travailler, de ne pas se relâcher. Et si on fait ça, donc je pense que ça devrait y aller. Hein. Pour l'instant, je pense qu'on est plutôt en confiance en ce moment avec la pré-saison et avec ce match-là. Mais voilà, il ne faut pas se relâcher, il faut toujours continuer à travailler dur pour pouvoir continuer à faire ce genre de performance. Oui, je crois que c'était sur un contre, je crois. Et après, Andreas, il a récupéré la balle et il a réussi à me faire un bon centre. Et j'étais bien placé et j'ai réussi à la finir. Donc voilà, c'était un bon but. Bah, c'est sûr, j'ai plutôt tendance à marquer plutôt des beaux buts. Donc si en plus des beaux buts, j'arrive à marquer ce genre de but, bah, je pourrais marquer beaucoup plus de buts cette saison. Bah, c'est bien pour nous parce que ça nous permet de déséquilibrer la défense adverse et voilà, ça crée un déséquilibre et donc c'est bien pour nous, ça nous permet aussi de changer voilà, quand on a envie de toucher un peu plus le ballon, mais c'est très important et le plus important aussi c'est de garder l'équilibre pour notre équipe. Ouais, mais j'essaie toujours d'aider mes partenaires, d'essayer de bouger et voilà, d'essayer de déséquilibrer la défense. Je pense qu'ils ont fait un très bon match. Et ils ont aussi eu la chance d'arriver très tôt pour pouvoir faire la préparation. Et je pense que ça les a beaucoup aidés. Et le Harry, il est arrivé ces derniers jours, là, mais il s'est très vite adapté. C'est un très grand défenseur. Et voilà, donc il sait déjà quoi faire. Bah, c'est sûr, pendant le tour, on a appris à les connaître. Aaron, il est un peu plus timide. Et Dan aussi, mais ça va, c'est vraiment des bons mecs. Et c'est ça le plus important, ils sont là pour apprendre et ils le font bien. Franchement, ça va être un sentiment incroyable. Un sentiment incroyable pour lui parce que je crois qu'il n'avait pas marqué durant la pré-saison. Et d'arriver ici à Old Trafford contre Chelsea et de marquer son premier but, ça doit être quelque chose d'exceptionnel pour lui. C'est sûr, on l'a vu sur sa célébration, il était vraiment content et on l'était aussi pour nous, ça va lui permettre d'être plus en confiance. Je pense que c'était une équipe très agressive. Dès qu'on recevait le ballon, ils étaient toujours là à essayer de récupérer la balle. C'était toujours un ou deux joueurs à venir nous agresser. Et je pense que ça avait marché sur ces matchs-là, mais voilà, c'est à nous de trouver la solution pour pouvoir pas reproduire ces matchs qu'on a fait l'année dernière. Je garde toujours ça pour moi. J'espère marquer déjà beaucoup plus de buts que j'ai marqué l'année dernière. Et si je marque plus de buts, ça aidera beaucoup plus l'équipe. C'est sûr que je préfère toujours marquer des buts, mais voilà, si je peux donner la balle à quelqu'un de mieux placé, je le ferai toujours.
So Martial leads the line again this evening. Could score his 50th goal for the club. If he scores tonight, that will be a great achievement for him. Obviously back to number 9. Sylvain, you're the best person to ask about this. Is there responsibility comes with that?
Yeah, there is. He's expected to get in the box and score goals. He's very versatile. Martial likes to drift, but when the ball's wide, he needs to be in the box, like his goal against Chelsea, which was a number 9 finish, and that's what they'll be expecting from him, and Rashford and others, you know.
You played number 9 for the reserves here, is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
And as always, the number or the shirt that you wanted?
Yeah, it's the go-to number.
Yeah.
I wanted that shirt to be mine. I went to Wolves and I think I took the 27, which is obviously 9, and then once the 9 came available, I took that, and it's always just worked for me.
Yeah.
It's just the shirt that I grew up wearing. And when you see your name on the back of it with number 9, it's goal scoring.
Responsibility.
Yeah, it's responsibility. And I wanted to be known for my goal scoring. And if you want to be known for your goal scoring, you wear the number 9 shirt.
Yeah. Who were the number 9s you would have looked up to whenever you were coming through the club here?
Andy Cole's a hero of mine. You know, I used to watch a lot of him play, and glad to meet him when I was here. And he was a fantastic number 9. But there's loads. I mean, it's just brilliant. I was so lucky to have played it, but be here and sort of get that experience from Van Nistelrooy and Solskjaer at the time. And you know, it's a great grounding for a young player.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure Martial will wear that 9 with pride. I know you think he's one of the most natural finishers here, Danny, but we heard Ollie saying, I'm not sure whether you heard in his press conference, he said it's a little while to go before he gets to Mason Greenwood.
Yeah.
But what do you think Martial will bring to that shirt?
I just think, you know what I like, he's got that arrogance. When he's enjoying his football, he's got that arrogance, and you need it to be a top striker. Just sort of give me the ball, let me run at people. His runs are very good. You're watching him now, he's enthusiastic about making runs off the ball. And I just think he's a good finisher. So when he puts it together, I've always thought he's a centre forward. I've always think he's restricted on the left hand side. So when I see him play through the middle, I just think he can bring all his game to the party. And you know, he did that against Chelsea. I also like the fact that when he plays up with Marcus, the two of them almost play as a front two, but when it breaks down, one of them get out to the left hand side. So there's a lot of different factors they can bring to it, and I enjoy watching him play.
And do you agree with Ollie?
About Mason? You know, Mason's got 2 great feet, hasn't he? But a bit tongue in cheek now. It's laid the gauntlet down to Marcus and Anthony Martial, definitely.
Okay, thanks, Guy. There's been a lot of new friendships forming over pre-season here. Certainly we've seen with McTominay and James, but also with Axel and McTominay himself. And they've completed a little challenge called 1-to-1. Let's have a look.
Who would play me in a film?
I got someone in mind, but obviously I ain't going to say it right now.
You got to write down, yeah? This is standard. This is one of those iconic films of all time. So,
ready?
Yeah?
Yeah.
Right, I said Ivan Drago.
Yeah, I said Drago. I didn't know his first name. Yo.
It's a good start.
It's a good start,
you know. It's a good start.
So, who is my all-time favourite footballer?
This can't be a defender.
You already know.
All-time favourite footballer. I've got one in mind, but I'm not sure who I think. Nah, I'm gonna stick. I've stuck to it.
You ready? Yeah.
Yeah. I went to CR7.
Ronaldinho.
I was gonna go Ronaldinho, you know, but then I thought I didn't know. I was he loves speed, he loves athleticism, so I thought, do you know what? I'll go with it.
Nah, he's the all-time magician.
Yeah, he's
the legendary player.
Right then. What was my nickname growing up?
I don't remember anyone calling you anything
different.
different.
Think of Joycey. Think of Joycey.
Can't think.
It wasn't really a nickname, but it was what the reserve team coach used to call me quite a lot. Whenever I was getting a little bit taller, as a clue.
But I'm gonna say, I got one. Ready?
Right, let's go.
Tin Man.
The Tin Man. Joycey.
Joe Riley used to call you Mac a couple times.
Yeah,
now.
he did.
Of the two of us, who the tidiest? I think this is quite simple.
What? He said, yeah, 100%. 100%. Go in his room, yeah, and everything's immaculate. Everything's shirt from the game the other night, straight, ready, hung out to dry. I'm all right. He's just a different level, mate. Honestly, yeah. It's a good trait to have, though.
You can say I got OCD, but I just like my stuff to be neat and tidy.
Right. Who's my sporting hero?
Oh, it could be anyone.
Yeah, this could be anyone because I've got a few, to be fair, but
it definitely has to be a footballer.
Yeah, it's a footballer. Oh, that's a clue, man. And I played against him, so there's another clue.
Yeah, ready.
Let's go. Messi.
You already know.
Yeah. 100%, man.
100%.
Greats of all time, yeah.
Can't bear Ronaldinho. Guilty pleasure. You won't get this one.
Guilty pleasure. And I think I will get this one, you know.
Yeah, ready?
Yeah. Eating sweets, man.
Oh, nah, I don't eat sweets like that.
You don't eat sweets like that?
Nah, bro.
In the reserves, he used to bang sweets all the time. He used to love his sweets. Slow jams!
Slow jams, like...
Is that guilty?
Yeah, if you knew what kind of songs...
Yeah. What is my favourite other sport, then?
Football. You was always a year older than me, so I've never seen what you're saying in PE. Other than football, you didn't really do anything else, did you?
Basketball. You think I'm a basketball player? I know I'm taller than that, yeah, but I can't. I'm no good at basketball. Golf. Yeah, I do enjoy golf, to be fair, in the summertime and stuff like that. So it's a good little sport, to be fair.
Nah, golf is dead, man. You hit one ball, you walk 20 minutes.
No, not if you're in the buggy. If you're in the buggy, then you're flying.
For the Silvers, who's got the best banter?
Who's got the best bands? Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you gonna answer this properly, or are you gonna answer this?
Bum, I'm gonna answer it how I see you fit.
But I've been fair to him, man. I've been fair. You wrote down your answer yet? I don't know, time to change now.
Nah, I'm sticking with my answer.
50-50.
Nah, it's definitely me, fam.
This is, I swear.
Nah, man.
He's acting up.
I ain't acting up, man. Scott was a bit quiet when he first came into the dressing room. So, oh.
What's my favourite film? It had a guy called Harrison Ford in it, and it's an old film.
Yeah.
To be fair, it's difficult that whenever it's a full film, but this film goes off.
I don't know who Harrison Ford is, so this is a wild guess.
The Fugitive. The Fugitive is a very, very good film.
I'd never guessed that. If I was to have a superpower, what would it be?
This is if you're being true to yourself, and this is very, very easy. I've even put 100% on the side.
You ready?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go.
Unlimited speed.
Super speed.
Super speed, 100%. He thinks he's got that anyway, but he is quick.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll give him that.
Yeah, you already know, fam.
Interesting to know how much they actually know each other. Right, let's get back to tonight then. Wolves team are arriving. We can see pictures of them and warming up on the pitch too. I just want to ask you about playing at the Molineux. How difficult is it for teams to go there? We know last year it was a bit of a tricky place for Manchester United. What kind of atmosphere is it down there, Sylvain?
Yeah, it's a real good atmosphere down there, especially the night games. Full house, the fans will be fully behind the team. It's a bit of a spectacle down there now with all the fireworks and stuff pre-match, you know. It's a tough place to go. You have to be on your A game. You have to start well. You have to get after them because they're a good side. They're well drilled, and it's a difficult place to go and get points.
And what a season they had back in the Premier League. They did surprise a lot of people coming in and finishing 7th. Were you surprised?
I was slightly surprised. I think they done really well. They probably, you know, didn't expect that themselves, but they're playing European football this year, and sort of last year there's a real good feel-good factor there, and they've built a really strong team, and they're still building there, you know, and yeah, they had a really, really good season, especially against the top teams as well.
Mm-hmm. Do you think there might be a bit of tired legs? They've obviously got a lot of games, a lot more than the other Premier League teams, a lot more than us at the minute. They play again on Thursday. Is that going to make a difference this evening?
I don't think so. I think you're early in the season. You know, you've just had pre-season. You're excited. You've had your summer to sort of let your aches and pains get out your legs. Mm-hmm. I don't think there will be. I think they'll be up for this. They'll be up for Torino. I think it's later on that the games start to pile up, and sometimes it can tell. But you know, it's their first time playing in the Europa League alongside the Premier League. And I've listened to a few interviews, and they want to grab it with both hands. So I don't think there'll be any complacency at all.
Yeah, they did very well against the top 6 last season. We can actually have a little look at that. 16 points is what they took from top 6 teams. It's an impressive stat, that, Sylvain, isn't it?
It's fantastic. It shows you they're arguably one of the best counter-attacking teams in the league. And you know, when you're playing the top teams, they have more of the ball, and you know, Wolves will counter-attack you and they will punish you. Jimenez and Jota, you can't give them chances because they will find the back of the net, you know, so they're a strong side.
Will they allow Manchester United to have a lot of possession tonight?
I think they will initially. You know, they'll let United come and feel them out, but they're very aware of the triggers of when to break. You know, if they win the ball in certain areas of the pitch, you'll see all of a sudden they come to life. You see Jota, you see Jimenez with their different types of movement. So that's the point when you're attacking against that. As United, you've always got to be aware of that threat. And you know, we got done like that last season when we were at Molineux a couple of times. So you know, I'm sure hopefully we'll learn from that.
Thank you. This week, the club revealed their brand new third kit for the season. United are back in black.
Again, the flag stays down. It's Giggs who's through this time. Giggs goes for it and flashes there on the follow-up. And Manchester United are in the lead.
Owen, it's 3. And everything they hit ends up in the back of the net. And even by Manchester United standards, this is simply stunning.
Cantona back helping on the edge of his own box. Sharp, Giggs. Cantona, he was on the edge of his own box a second ago, and now he's on the edge of the Sheffield United box, and he scored! Oh, superbly done!
Emerson, oh look at this, Rooney, lofted over the goalkeeper for an impudent finish.
It's a great finish, it really is a great finish, and he deserves it. He deserves his goal today, no question about that, Wayne Rooney.
Back to Valencia, shooting chance, 1-0! The skipper slashes it home. Martial, Lingard! Oh, that's magnificent!
Giggs enters, carried on with his run, chance here for Manchester United, and still could be a goal, and here's for Lee Sharp! Villanelle, Manchester United 1, and Lee Sharp marks his return to the side with a goal.
Goes down, Martial! Caught back pass, Martial's in, can he finish?
Yes, he can.
Exciting, unpredictable, unplayable. Heading back across goal, and nodded in by Chicharito. He's done that again.
John O'Shea can finish it here, that's lovely! It's Manchester United's night!
Manchester United. We rose from the street together, bringing never-ending belief. But don't let anyone tell you that the road to glory is easy. We've walked it longer and further than any others. That's why we know who we are. A team full of young blood, courage and ambition. We've shown them before what greatness looks like, and we'll do it again and again and again. Since 1909 and before, the day Red rose.
And after watching that, we are playing in red tonight, but that kit was launched this week. I love a black kit. What do you think of that, Danny?
I like it. You know, I like the little the VT there, watching over the years. Brings back some memories.
And I was going to say, when you think of the black kit, who stands out for you?
Cantona. Cantona, some of his goals there, just seeing him, he owned the shirt, whatever he wore, but he properly wore the black shirt.
What about you, Sylvain?
Yeah, I'd say the same. Cantona, he's a fantastic player when he was a showman.
Yeah.
Great to watch, scored fantastic goals, and I think he's the one that sticks out. He had that sort of swagger, that French swagger, and yeah, I'll go with Cantona as well.
Okay, we've had the thoughts here on today's team news. Let's head back down to the Molineux now and see what Ben makes of the lineup.
Yeah, down here in the tunnel area at Molineux, and we're just digesting the team news, me and Ben Thornley, and obviously the dominant story, Dan James, who came off the bench fairy tale introduction to the United career and scored as a sub against Chelsea. Well, now he's making his full debut tonight here at Wolves. Great for him.
Yeah, massive thing for him. Full debut for Manchester United. He's already scored when he came on against Chelsea, and he scored in pre-season as well. And if he can keep that going with an away goal tonight at Wolves, then it'll go a long way, because this is going to be a very tough game.
Something we spoke about earlier on in the programme is how you unlock this very well organised Wolves side, 3 at the back, 5 strong across the midfield. They sit deep. They try to stop you counter-attacking. But you look at the front 4 of United, so much pace and power there. Is that where the threat is going to be, trying to counter-attack or get wide?
Without any question. I think what they will be relying on, I mean, Wolves, by their very nature, they allow teams to come onto them. They're very, very rigid. Obviously, they know the positions extremely well, and they look to turn the ball over very, very quickly and then exploit the spaces that you've left by coming out of your defence and your midfield zones. But I think that the players that we've got, with the pace that we've got, it's so important that we get Paul Pogba on the ball to be able to find these gaps in between the fullbacks and the deep line centre halves, or the wider centre halves, if you like. And with with Marcus Rashford, with Daniel James, you have got the pace, and obviously Anthony Martial as well. You've got the pace to be able to do that, and I think that's where the key's going to be, is to win the battle in the midfield area and to find the likes of Dan James in advanced positions, the other side of the wing backs.
Dan is a raw talent, as we saw. I mean, do you just say to him, just go out and do your stuff, do what you do for Swansea, that's why you're playing?
They will be terrified of his pace. There's no two ways about it. I mean, you'd be foolish not to, because he's incredibly quick. But once he does get into those positions that his pace has got him to, then he needs to make sure that he delivers. We've seen him do that in front of goal. It'd be brilliant if he can do it tonight. But if it just means an assist for somebody like Marcus Rashford or Anthony Martial or Jesse Lingard, whoever, as long as we can get him into positions where he can hurt the opposition's defence, and he has definitely got the pace to do that.
All right, looking forward to it. 8 o'clock start. What a game it should be. Wolves against Manchester United. Can United get the win that would take them top of the table after 2 games?
That would be perfect. OK, let's get more from the boss now. Here he is speaking in his pre-match press conference on Friday.
Chris Smalling's obviously struggled to get into the England squad under Gareth Southgate because he wants his team to be able to play out from the back. If Chris comes into your team, do you think he's able to play in the way that you want him to play?
I'm sure both Chris and Phil and Marcos, Axel will be capable of playing here. That's why they're here, and I've got no reason to believe that to pick players that I don't think is going to fit into the way we're going to play.
Because both of them obviously signed long-term contracts.
Yeah.
Last season, do you think? I mean, obviously they're at a different stage of their careers to perhaps Axel. Do you think there are going to be enough games for Chris and Phil to keep them happy here?
That'll be for us to work out, and of course I do have too many centre-backs to keep everyone happy. But we need to win games, we need to perform, so we're going to pick the players that will give us the biggest chance to win games.
Is that something you spoke to Ed about, Ollie, that you do have kind of too many centre-backs, and there's a lot of talk of Rojo maybe leaving?
Well, they're all quality centre-backs, and I know that we will need quite a few of them. Of course, Eric's injury makes it... At the moment, I've got 6 fit ones, which is maybe one too many to keep everyone involved. But then that's our jobs, to make the most of what we have now, and then for them as well to make sure every day in training, and when they get the chance, because they will, we've got loads of games, and play well when you get it. Phil and all of these, Marcos, Phil, Chris, they've been here for a long time, and they've proven that they can do it.
Will you consider Marcos for selection before September the 2nd, given that he could go?
Yeah, definitely. Why shouldn't I?
Sometimes managers won't.
Yeah,
want to
no, he's
jeopardise
had a very good pre-season. I think he's getting closer and closer to the Argentinian setup as well. So let's see what the future will bring.
Anthony scored a sort of goal poacher's goal against Chelsea. He's obviously got that number 9 sort of role that you're giving him this season. I just wondered what's been the discussions with him about his role, and what do you expect of him this season?
Well, Anthony's had spells when he's played number 9, or if you like, or centre forward on the Van Gaal. Then he's played on the left the last few years. I think him and Marcus both are capable of playing both positions. Sometimes it'll be Marcus through the middle and Anthony on the left, or Dan James on the left, and maybe one of them on the right. So, but of course, the goals are scored from between the posts, and not the worldies that we've seen them score, both of them, Marcus and Anthony, curlers up in the top corner or dribble. I want both of them to be more score easy goals. Just, you don't have to work too hard to score them. It's just a little bit of movement. It was a great counter-attack, great runs by Anthony. I think maybe he felt, he should have got it. The first pass went out a little bit wide to Jesse, and he stopped. But then he got himself back in a good position, and even though he might have mishit it, it went in. So if you can get 5 extra goals like this every season, both of them, that's 10.
You know a bit about finishing. Who's the better natural finisher out of Anthony and Marcus?
Natural finisher? Well, they've still got a way to go, because Mason's more of a natural finisher than them too.
Last season's adversity brought the squad closer together. Do you sense that? Do you sense you've got a really tight group now?
Yeah, we do feel we have a very tight-knitted group, and the experienced boys have been really good. I know they've not been picked the first game, but Ashley, Nemanja, Chris, they've been very helpful in that respect. So it's been very good so far. Then when you hit the first hurdle, stick together then, and we'll move on.
Okay, guys,
thank you.
The thoughts of Ollie there on Friday. The first questions were surrounding his centre-backs. He does have a lot of centre-backs at the club at the minute, Danny. Too many to keep happy, as he said. But is it a bit of a key tonight that Axel's kept his place on the bench, that he maybe is his third choice?
Yeah, I'd say so. I think he's earned it. Coming back from his spell at Villa last season on loan, I think Ollie would have known about his name, not seen him work day to day with him. But he's obviously had a great pre-season, not just in the games, but obviously in fitness work, in training, showing a good attitude. That's made Ollie think, actually, he can do everything I want him to do. And he's risen up the pecking order. It's up to him to stay there now. It's up to him to when he gets his chance for him to stay in. But he's definitely seems to have gone up in everybody's estimation. And I, for one, I've seen Axel play for years. He can play as a right back, he can play as a holding midfielder, but he really seems to have cemented his centre half position. And I think he's more than capable of doing the job.
And obviously we've seen him sign that new contract as well. Sylvain, did you see much of him playing last season?
Yeah, I've seen bits of him, and his confidence is sky high at the minute. I mean, he had a really good loan move at Villa. They've got promoted, flying really high. He's a young lad with full of confidence. Ollie obviously wants him around the squad, wants him learning from the more experienced players, and it's fantastic. He wants to be here. He feels like he'll get into the team and play and get the games he needs, and it's fantastic to see that,
Centre-backs, he was saying there, as I mentioned before, Ollie said he's got too many to keep happy. But when it comes to that part of the season where we do have lots of games coming up, that's when we need that squad rotation too, Danny.
Yeah, no, I think you do, but we've got 6 top centre halves here at the moment, and it is impossible to keep everybody happy. Yes, you'll get the odd injury here and there, and you will be a bit of squad rotation, but I think, as Ollie did say, you probably one too many there to keep everybody, giving everybody the right amount of game time. He clearly thinks that Harry Maguire and Lindelof are his chosen partnership to start the season. So yeah, it's the European window's still open a little bit. You never know, before that closes, you might see somebody go on loan, or you might see somebody leave permanently.
Yeah. Okay, thank you guys. United's opening Premier League fixture ended up in a thrilling 4-0 win over Chelsea last week, of course. But there was more to that win than just the scoreline. Here are some of the best stats from the Manchester United official app's Match Centre.
he looks ready down this side. Wan-Bissaka trying to get back at it. Edge of the penalty area, and Wan-Bissaka wins his first challenge in the Premier League for Manchester United. Wan-Bissaka will help clean up though.
Yeah, it's a great pass.
Really good pass into Andreas Pereira, the space on the far side. Wan-Bissaka. Dribbling clear of one, cross deflected as it came back towards Pereira at Chelsea. The pass straight down the centre, and what a challenge that is from Wan-Bissaka. He might have to make another. And Lindelof passes out from the back. That is as good a challenge as you'll see anywhere on the opening weekend. Conte was tugging him back there. Rashford able to clip onto it despite the intense pressure of two Chelsea players. Competition for Manchester United was a bit between their teeth now. As Rashford finds Martial, turns away on the corner of the penalty area. He steps to the side, angles his run. Rashford fires it brilliantly into the top corner. Not a prayer for Wan-Bissaka. And in this box office battle on opening weekend, Manchester United draw first blood. The first goal of the 2019-20 campaign. But this time takes a lovely touch. Marcus Rashford! Manchester United are running rampant on the opening weekend. A double for Marcus Rashford, who continues his red-hot pre-season form. And Manchester United really are in dreamland here at the Theatre of Dreams.
And you can delve into the stats from today's game on the official Manchester United app. All of those stats update live as the game's going on, so it's worth checking out tonight. As well as that, we've got our very own Statman Dave, who will be providing some analysis later on. You've been doing box-to-box, Danny, haven't you, with Statman Dave? Have you been enjoying that?
Yeah, it's good, yeah. It's not easy on that touchscree now, I'm telling you. I said I'll leave that to him.
That should be the easy part.
It should be, yeah, but I guess there's a lot to think about, Ellen. Do you know what I mean?
Harry Maguire getting some good stats there. We've seen in that VT, but that is not a surprise to anybody. He came into that game and he looked like he'd been playing here for years, Sylvain.
Yeah, he's been in good form for Leicester. He stepped straight into this team and he looks like he'd been there for years. He commands the box, he's very good on the ball, he's comfortable, and you can tell the lads are delighted to have him in. I think he's the right character. He's a Manchester United football player with the right sort of discipline, the attitude, and I'm really excited to see him play for this football club for years to come.
How excited were you by seeing him last week, Danny?
I was excited, and one of the things that made me most sort of enthused was when he just wore the shirt like he's been wearing it for the last 2 or 3 years. Sometimes people put the shirt on and it's too big for them, and it's they have to grow into it. And
we see it so often, don't we, with players as well? But there was just no sign of it with Harry at all.
Not at all. He kept it simple. You know, he made 2 key interceptions against Chelsea that led to goals, and he wasn't troubled at all. He wanted the ball. He was comfortable on the ball. You know, and I think he'll only get better and better as well. So yeah, really real good signing.
And he's comfortable playing out from the back, and I think that's something that Ollie was very keen on.
Yeah, he's really good on the ball, and he just settles everyone around him down. I think Lindelof stepped up as well. He's playing well, and you know, you're able to play different styles with Maguire in your team. And as I said before, I'm really looking forward to see him grow in stature at this football club and go on to win, you know, trophies and be successful.
And what about the players around him, having him on board, Danny?
Well, it gives you confidence. Both him and Wan-Bissaka give you a different level of stability. I think the right back slot's had been a problem for a while, since you know, was always chopping and changing So you add Wan-Bissaka and him into the mix, it makes everybody raise their game. It makes the other centre-halves raise the game, as Sylvain just said about Lindelof, and anybody who gets in the team is going to have to raise the game to knock him out. So also going forward, you know that when you've got somebody like that defending behind you, you can go forward with more freedom.
And the pace as well, which we spoke about earlier on, it's exciting to have that in our side.
Without a shadow of a doubt. You know, and that's one thing. If you look at every player that's come in, has that raw pace. You know, he'll get refined over time. Like Dan James, he's got that blistering pace over the top. And the more he plays, the more he gets into the rhythm of playing for Manchester United, it'll be so effective. But yeah, 3 great additions, I think, from in the summer from Ollie.
How do you think we're going to play tonight then? Will it all be about that pace again in the counter-attack?
Yeah, it has to be. You have to use the pace of James. You have to get the ball. For me, United are at their best when they control possession, get the ball wide quickly and get balls in the box. Get players in the box, getting across their defenders and putting the ball in the back of the net. So today they need to be bright, they need to be sharp, they need to get at Wolves and make them defend. But for me, get the ball wide, get it in the box.
We can see Wan-Bissaka, we've just been talking about him, but we can see his stats as well there. I think he's the most picked player for Fantasy Premier League tonight as well, which is a nice accolade to have, isn't it?
He is. He was in my team last year. He did wonders for me. Yeah.
Was he?
Yeah, he was good.
So you knew what you were getting?
I knew. Yeah, I think. Yeah, he's up and down. He brings the attacking side of it as well. But first and foremost, he enjoys defending. You can see that he really, as an attacker, I know when you're playing against somebody like that, and they're enjoying trying to win the ball off you. You know, you can really see it, and that's what he's like. He wants to defend. He wants to come out victorious and set off the attacks. And so far, he's shown really good signs of it.
And Dan James might be glad of his delivery too.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he's a fantastic young player. He's got an opportunity at the biggest club in the world for me, and I really hope he takes that opportunity starting today and really just grows in stature. Ryan Giggs has spoke on him and really likes him as a man, as a player, and I want to see him at this club for years because he's got pace, he excites the fans, and I'm really looking forward to seeing him play today.
There's something so likeable about him, isn't there, Danny? I mean, you could see that. I mentioned it earlier about the players, how happy they were to see him score last week.
Massive. It was a big moment. I mean, everybody came and celebrated. It was a good moment. There was a picture on MUTV when he was celebrating. Everybody came and jumped on him. You could see the emotion in him. Obviously, it meant a lot to him with the passing of his father and so on as well. But he's obviously a likeable character because everybody wanted to come and be a part of that. And the fans behind were all celebrating as well. It was a great moment for him to come on and score his first goal, and hopefully it's the first of many. Will that Wolves team be looking at United's starting line-up tonight and be worried about his pace? Yeah, they will be worried. They'll be worried by the starting 11 and the players on the bench, you know. They know they've got to be at it as well to get the points. It's going to be an interesting contest. Wolves have definitely got to be at it. But I'm really looking forward to this game. I'm not sure which way it's going to go yet because it depends on the styles. For me, United have really got to get at them, you know, and make them defend early, and it'll be an interesting spectacle. It will indeed. OK, we're fast approaching kick-off now. If you missed our interview with Ollie at the top of the show, here's what he had to say to Stuart Gardner a little earlier on.
Well, Ollie, we see the one change from last week and a full Premier League debut for Dan James. What's your thinking there?
Well, Dan's been impressive all pre-season, ever since he came into the club, and we feel that tonight might be a game for him. Obviously, he'll give us the X factor of his pace, penetration in behind, and so we try to stretch Wolves a little bit. We know how difficult it is to come here and get 3 points, so we know that we'll have to be on top of our game.
How much of a challenge is it against a team that drop deep? They sort of compress the space, make it difficult for you?
Then they hit you on the break. Then they can play with the ball as well. They've got good strikes from outside the box, set pieces, volley is always a danger. So they're going to give us loads of difficult questions tonight that we have to answer, and we've got to just be better than them, because that's the only way to beat them, is becoming a better team ourselves.
Strangely, it feels like ages since we played, even though it's been only just over a week. But I guess the boys are absolutely raring to go, aren't they, after the Chelsea?
Yeah, of course. But we've had a great week, good training, put some hard work into them. Then the last few days now we've done some tactical work and eased off a little bit. And I don't think we could have been better prepared for a game like this. We've had so many times games 2 days after another game, and today we've had 7 days of training, and we're ready. We're definitely not the preparation that's going to stop us tonight.
Good luck. Hope it goes well. Thank you.
Thank you.
That interview again with Ollie there. I just want to ask you about fitness there. Fitness was one of the main things that Ollie had talked about last season. Will he be happy with the fitness levels he saw last week and continuing into this evening?
I think he will. You've seen it, it was increasing throughout pre-season. Every game got more and more intense. You could see, you know, the lads, when they're getting fitter, you can do the things that you can do repeatedly instead of doing it and then dropping off. You know, we're pressing higher up the pitch. So yeah, fitness plays a big factor, and you know, I liked Ollie's saying there. So listen, we've had time to train. There's no excuses, and I think now he's got everybody in a mindset where there are no excuses, and you go toe to toe with whoever you come up against, and fitness plays a big part in that.
What sort of game are you expecting then tonight, Sylvain?
High intensity. There'll be a lot of pace in both teams. High intensity game. I'm really looking forward to it. I mean, United look like a team that are really enjoying themselves. You know, there's smiles on their face, and I always find when you enjoy your football and you're smiling, you work harder. You want to work harder for your manager. You're fitter, stronger, and you tend to get the results. So really excited to see this game today and see how it pans out.
The thing is, no matter who you are, people always raise their game against Manchester United too, don't they?
Of course, so that will never change. It's Manchester United Football Club. The history behind it stands alone, you know. So, you know, Wolves will be up for it anyway, but United need to continue to raise their game if they want to walk away with the 3 points today.
What sort of game are you expecting then, Danny?
High intensity. You know, you've got to be clinical. The team that's the most clinical will win the game, and you know, but from United's point of view, we've got to impress ourselves upon Wolves. Be aware of the threat, but impress yourself upon them and try and get yourself ahead, change their mindset.
And I suppose it's about scoring goals, isn't it? The goals last week, it gives you confidence.
Yeah, people say goals change games, and it definitely changed the Chelsea game at the weekend. You know, I'd probably say Chelsea were the better side up until we scored the goal. They had the better chances, they hit the post, and they looked probably more dangerous than we did. But the goals change everybody's mindset. They got United's tail up, and then from there it's about being clinical, putting the other team to the sword, and we did that very well last week. So that's exactly what you want to see again tonight. Probably just a bit of a faster start and not allowing Wolves into the game.
And where's your heart lying tonight? I will not ask you that.
It's a tricky one.
Well, don't want to say a draw either, come on.
No, I want to see a really good game of football. If I'm honest, I feel like if United start bright, you'll know within the first 5 minutes which way the game's going to go. But I think United will edge it. It'll be tight, but I think United will edge it today. They look in good form. I like Rashford at the minute. He looks like he's enjoying. He looks clinical. There's good pace in the team. Like I said, it's a younger team that are enjoying their football, and yeah, I think they may edge it.
That's not what you said on Wolves TV.
No. But the Wolves fans won't thank me for that. It's a good job they don't watch this.
Hopefully they're not watching. Well, as we said, the atmosphere sure should be brilliant down there this evening. We can see it filling up, but that is it from us here at Old Trafford for the time being. We will be back at half-time to review the first 45 minutes of action. We'll hand you over to your commentary teams very shortly, but first, a reminder of United's starting 11.
Number 1, David De Gea. Number 29, Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Number 5, Harry Maguire. Number 2, Victor Lindelof. Number 23, Luke Shaw. Number 39, Scott McTominay. Number 6, Paul Pogba. Number 21, Daniel James. Number 14, Jesse Lingard. Number 10, Marcus Rashford. Number 9, Anthony Martial.
There you go, confirmation of tonight's Manchester United starting lineup. They like a bit of fire here at Molineux. We saw it the 2 games in the spring. It really is, I tell you, that is properly warm. We're miles up in the air here, and that is properly warm. Those jets of flames going into the sky to try and get the atmosphere going. I don't think you really need to get the atmosphere going here, do you?
No, you don't. No, they get right behind them, but this certainly helps. And you're right, Stu, it is quite warm up here now.
Teams in the tunnel down below us. Wolves, I suspected more than most to derail United's season in the spring. 2 defeats in those 17 days across League and Cup. Proved very costly, and there could barely be a tougher opening away day fixture for the Reds. But you also have to say, confidence rather high after that super victory 8 days ago now.
Yeah, without question, the standout result of the weekend. Beating Chelsea 4-0. Yes, we know that they're slightly depleted and they've not been able to go into the transfer market, but even so, they've still got some extremely good players, and they won't be beaten 4-0 again this season, I can assure you.
David De Gea leading Manchester United. Conor Cody, the captain of Wolves, who've already played 4 games in the Europa League this season. Played 1 league game, they got a 0-0 draw at Leicester. They're playing another Europa game in Italy on Thursday. Busy times for Wolves, but this is what they signed up for. They finished 7th last year. United finished 6th, 9 points between them. And in all 3 meetings, they gave United a lot of trouble.
They certainly did. They were the best side that came to Old Trafford that I saw last season, the way they played football. And we know about the 2 results in the latter half of the season. Point to prove.
So here come the teams, not a seat to be had in this famous old ground. A reminder, Dan James, his reward for his impact as a sub against Chelsea, a first Premier League start, part of a very lively looking front 4. McTominay makes his 50th appearance. Anthony Martial's looking for his 50th goal. Wolves, of course, trying to juggle those Europa League qualifiers with Premier League games, but it's a very familiar 3-5-2. Deep lying, hard to break down. Let's hope United can do it. All right, well, Tim Long and Andy Ritchie are going to bring you radio commentary on this game. Perfect start so far for Ollie. Can he continue it tonight?
United arrived onto this pitch through the fire and laser show twice earlier this year and left zapped and burned on both occasions. Wolves finished their season with a bang and a place in the Europa League qualifiers. United's flame prematurely burnt out. The Reds have been reignited over the summer though, a team rejuvenated, refocused and in the midst of a rebuild as they look to raise their game, as tonight's opponents have done so well themselves over the last couple of years. Wolves were the first ever English team to play in European competition. They're on the brink of a place in the Europa League group stages this season, and of course a possible meeting with United later in that tournament. The price they've paid for that is a qualifying campaign that started way back on the 25th of July. They've already played 5 competitive fixtures this season and been clocking up the air miles, 4,700 to be precise just 4 days ago. United will hope to capitalise on that after a full week of rest and rehabilitation. A clinical combination of fitness and finesse was a fantastic mix at Old Trafford, of course, a week ago. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's side could hardly have got off to a better start, but arguably the test here tonight is an even greater one. Only Manchester City and Liverpool took more points against top 6 opposition than Wolverhampton Wanderers last season. No team in the league launched more counter-attacks. And being caught cold on the counter in the Wolves' den is very much the threat for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer and his side here tonight. They're well aware of the dangers, of course, facing this team. The bite of the gold beasts was felt in all 3 meetings last season. The question now, Andy, is do they have the right personnel, with the one change, Dan James coming in, and the right plan to stop those threats this time around? Can they break that low block without walking straight into the Wolves' trap?
Well, I certainly hope so. It's a tough one, isn't it? We've discussed this off air, haven't we, together, and we've said how tough this one is. We've had trouble against Wolves last season. We've got different personnel now. We've got a different work ethic. We've got a different line-up with lots of pace and power, and it's a high press, as the chaps back in the studio were talking about. Let's see what we can do, you know, but they are a difficult